black supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to give you the ultimate contemplation or divine contemplation to go beyond all of your attachments. And this is very important because a lot of people struggle with non-attachment, detaching themselves from certain things in their lives that's causing stress, ignorance, pain, and suffering in their life. I mean, they're losing night's sleep with these attachments. And it's one thing to just go and tell a person, just be disattached, let it go, move on, disattach yourself. It's easy to say that, but it's very difficult for a person to engage in that action. It becomes difficult. So with this particular video, I want to give you divine contemplation that will help you go beyond all of your attachment. Now, by no means in this video am I suggesting that you be irresponsible and imbalanced in how you disattach from people, situations, circumstances, and events in your life. I'm only going to help you from the type of stress that could kill you, that could end your life, and could disable you to effectively solve the problems in your life and be a responsible person. Because if you're stressed out and you're dead and you're not functioning at your highest or optimal capacity, there's no way you're going to be able to be a responsible person. Detachment can help you with that. Non-attachment can help you with that. So I'm gonna give you a divine contemplation on how to do that in this particular video. Now, ask yourself, contemplate this. Ask yourself, what would my attachments do if I was dead? What would my attachments do? If I die right now, what would happen to my attachments? Would life go on for them? And what will be the value of my existence as it relates to my attachments if I was to die right now? A lot of times our attachments is how we created significance in our lives. It's how we make ourselves feel significant or important and alive. So our ego is connected to a lot of our attachments. Even if we're attached to some things that are negative, that they're not beneficial for us, they're not helping us, they're not constructive, we still get some type of significance from them. So our own significance attaches us. How we feel important, how we feel valued. So you gotta let go of that significance. Because if you died right now, that significance would no longer be there. That those attachments would have to find a person who can derive significance from them, or a situation, but it wouldn't be you. So you have to become more insignificant in your consciousness of yourself. When you measure yourself to the entire universe, to the entire cosmos, to everything that is going on, everything that could ever go on, and everything that has ever went on, you have to find that insignificant place. That you're just not that important as an ego in the grand scheme of all that exists. That's what death makes you aware of. That, hey, you're just not that significant. If you die right now, shit is going on. Life is going to continue. Life is going to reorganize. So why are you gaining a significance out of something that does not reflect the truth? That's how you know that it's ego and that it's a false reality. because your significance is really not that important. It is a made significance. It is a maintained significance. And the problem with maintaining that significance is that it could drive you crazy. It could drive you insane. It could drive you to a nervous breakdown. It could drive you into the hospital, to the morgue, where you would visit that death anyway. So ask yourself, if I was dead right now, what would my attachments do? And in some sense, a part of you is dead. Within you is Atma, the self, the observer of everything, the eternal witness lives inside of you. That means that everything is going on, but it's really not a part of it. It's watching everything. It's even watching you watching, you watching. So it's already in a non-attached state. It's already subjective. It's already outside of your experience. It's in a transcendental realm. You want to connect to that part of you that's just watching everything. That's the death of the ego. That's where you go beyond the ego. That's where the ego dies at that point, when you get to that eternal witness self. And witness the things going on in your life from the dead. I want you to go to the realm of the Ogun. I want you within yourself to go to the realm of the dead. And I want you to witness your life from the realm of the dead. And look at it objectively, not as you are attached into it, as this is my life, these things are going on, this is so important to me, my life depends on it, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. See, that's the matrix. The matrix is the stage for all false narratives and all false realities to exist. The matrix allows every false thought to exist. It's a stage for it. It's for the play, the grand play. The Maya, or the samsara, keeping you on that wheel of illusion. So go to the realm of the dead and look at your life from that perspective. Step outside of your life. And with you not being there, how are you being pulled into it? How are you being pulled into these circumstances and events? How is your energy being parasitically utilized in this realm of an illusion? You are being evoked into this realm. The true you is being invoked here to play roles that are not very significant or important to your eternal existence. What would your attachments do if you were dead? So why are they living through you? Why not let them die? Or find another way for them to exist and allow the true you to live? Because the true you is bliss, is harmony, is peace, is happiness. That's the true you. All of the conflict is how you have attached yourself to the significances of this world, how you have attached yourself to these different narratives, to these different thoughts, thought forms, fears, projections, perceptions. The real you is always at peace, because it is invincible, it's indestructible, it's eternal, it always was, and it forevermore shall be. And it is the witness of all of these different dimensions and realms and realities. It's the witness of all of it. But sometimes the witness gets caught up and believes in these temporary stories, these bedtime stories. Not realizing that after the bedtime story, you go to sleep, but then you wake up the next morning. So we get caught up into these figments of our imagination, but they make us feel significant. And we get this great sense of importance, and we just get taken away with it. That this is who we are. That we cannot be unless these things are. Unless things appear this certain way or they show up this certain way, we can no longer exist. that somehow we'll die. And it's just not true. What happens is those attachments will die, those situations will die, those circumstances will die, but you will go on. And in going on, you will be wise in finding the true essence of who you are as you continue to go on. When you make it through certain realms and certain dimensions and certain experiences and circumstances, it's just an opportunity now for you to see the false from the real as it relates to you, to get more in tune with the reality of self. What would your attachments do if you die right now? And if you're scared to look at that, then you're attached to the false existence that you believe is you. You're attached to the false you. It's not even about the situations. You're not even trying to help the situations, maintain the situations, solve the situations. You're trying to maintain the self that exists in consequences of the situations. But if you realize that if you die tomorrow, which you could easily die physically, you could easily no longer be here anymore. That could just happen beyond your control of a human being. What will happen to these attachments? What would it all mean? What would that you did do or that you didn't do mean if you are no longer here? So now you are not panicking anymore to maintain a false ego. Now you're approaching these situations with grace and with ease, and in a way where you can apply the most efficient energy and thought to really rectify these situations and solve them and create the life that you really want to live, and not live a life of reacting to illusions and living a life on purpose, living a life on intention of what you want to manifest, of what you want to create. Waking up empowered and maintaining your power, not giving your power away to the illusion, not giving your power away, being drained by situations and circumstances that have no relevancy outside of your attachment to them, because they will live on in different ways without your energy, without your parasitic relationship to negativity within your own life. Look at all the situations in your life. Look at each and every one of them and say, you know what? What if I die? What's going to go on with this? How can I worry? How can I be stressed? How can I be at loss? How could I have failed? And what would be the value of that? Stress gone. Ego dead. God within you arisen, awakened. The God with you, the ego is no longer reacting, and now the God inside of you is responding. And when God responds, it is an act of creation. When the ego responds, it is an act of imprisonment in one's own perception of things. And I did videos on that earlier before. I talked about being a prisoner of your own perception. Trapped into your own perception about things. Not enslaved to anything else, but our own perception of limitation. Because we have casted a limited perceptual framework on the universe to maintain a certain ego that we have gained some gratification from. And sometimes that ego is the savior. Sometimes that ego is the victim. But it's something that we have gained some gratification out of it. And we don't want to let it go, so we keep the perceptual framework going, and that limits what we're able to do and achieve within our own lives. Because we live in our own perceptual prison. But when you contemplate your own death, you free yourself from being enslaved in the false perception of life that you created. And you can be reborn again in that contemplation of death. And you can bring forth new life into this very existence that you live in right now. This KingNoble Black Supremacy, I just want to touch on that. I'm sure I'll go into this more in later videos, but I hope many of you can benefit from that. The power of non-attachment through contemplating one's own death and the insignificance of one's own ego as it relates to the affairs in the universe. Black supremacy.